Good afternoon, class and Keo. Today I will present a presentation on my literacy activity, my reason for choosing the activity, and a reflection. But first, here's the definition of literacy and the learning objectives. My literacy activity is inspired by Keeling's shared reading. It is aimed at the foundation level of schooling and based on the book I Don't Want to Go to Bed by Julie Sykes and Tim Warnes. My literacy activity will involve reading the book aloud to my students and then encouraging them to participate in the reading. After they have participated, I will pose questions to the students such as, why do you think little Tiger did not want to go to bed? Have you ever not wanted to go to bed? And what did you want to do instead? I will then request the students to create an artwork illustrating the activity they were doing when they defied the rules and the implications of such action. As the students are executing an artwork, this relates to the statement, retell familiar literacy text through performance, use of illustrations and images, EEC1108. This statement and activity are interconnected because the students are using personal experiences to retell the story through an artwork. As the students will use various mediums to create the illustration, the statement experiment with different materials and techniques to make artworks VCA-VA018 is relevant. Particularly, the statement and activity unite as students will experiment with paint, pencils, and pens to create their work. Upon completion of the artwork, the students will utilize Microsoft Word to type a sentence stating their reasons for disobedience and the implications. Because students are operating word processing programs, this correlates with the statement, constructing text using software including word processing programs, VCELY163. After the students have utilized Word, they will present their work. As the students will present, this relates to the statement, deliver short oral presentations to peers using appropriate voice levels, articulation, body language, gestures, and eye contact, VCELY175. So here's an example of my literacy activity. Why did I choose this activity? The first component of this activity involves asking students questions such as, why do you think little Tiger refused to go to bed? And have you ever not wanted to go to bed? What did you want to do instead? This component was chosen as it will permit the students to comprehend the text due to their background knowledge and cultural understandings, which is a Hamilton and Barton principle, and their funds of knowledge. Funds of knowledge is defined as background knowledge and experience which students acquire throughout their lives. As this aspect of the activity includes funds of knowledge, it will also authorize students to experience a transaction between the text and themselves. This is defined as the transactional theory, which refers to a transaction occurring between the reader and the text due to prior personal experiences. As this activity authorizes a transaction to occur between the reader and the text and incorporates funds of knowledge, students are provided with an increased meaningful literacy experience. Therefore, this links to the Aliyah Declaration, meaning making is at the heart of all literacy practices. The second component involves students creating an artwork inspired by the book, illustrating the activity they were doing instead of obeying instructions and the results of such action. This section was chosen as it permits the students to utilize their prior experiences and knowledge to create written, visual, and/or oral texts. This is defined as text participation, an aspect of the four-resource model which refers to comprehending and creating various forms of texts through prior personal experiences. As students are creating artworks, they are able to use the text authentically. This connects to the Kanban condition use, which refers to students using the reading and writing in significant, interesting, and authentic ways. The third component involves students utilizing Microsoft Word to type a sentence stating their reasons for disobedience and the implications. I chose this as it permits me to correct the students. This is defined as the correctionist perspective, which refers to educators rectifying students' language use. Employing a correctionist perspective will permit students with the ability to compose texts of a superior standard by improving their grammatical, phonetic, and spelling attributes. The fourth component involves students presenting their work to peers. It was chosen as it authorizes students to create oral text based on their prior experiences, which is defined as text participation. Text participation refers to comprehending and creating visual, oral, or written text through prior personal experiences. By incorporating text participation, I am also enabling a text-to-self connection, which refers to interrelations based on individual experiences. These personal experiences will be presented, and by doing so, I am permitting opportunities for the students to be corrected. This is defined as the correctionist approach, as educators rectify students' language use. As a result, students will be able to create stronger presentations. Therefore, I have concluded that I desire to invest in the students' funds of knowledge. This is because literacy practices invite readers and writers to use their background knowledge and cultural understandings to make sense of texts. To authorize this, I will engage in various steps, including familiarizing myself with each student's funds of knowledge and posing questions that relate to the text and tap into the student's funds of knowledge. For instance, if the theme of the text is coming home, I will pose questions including, what do you imagine when you hear the word home? Whilst utilizing these steps to ensure students employ their funds of knowledge to enable text apprehension, additionally, I will need to assure meaning making is present. This is because meaning making is at the heart of all literacy practices.